Family vacations, what a flood of memories. Picnics, campgrounds, Disneyland, excitement. And of course there are the other memories too. Crying kids, potty stops, endless questions, potty stops, flat tires, and of course, potty stops. But even with all the worries, traveling together is an important part of a healthy, happy family. Today, Clifton Davis and Tammy McGrew will explore how to take the trauma out and keep the fun in family vacations. I'm Dan Matthews. This is Lifestyle Magazine.
Christine Loomis is a former senior editor of Parents Magazine and a current contributing editor of Family Life Magazine. She's the author of Reader's Digest's Simplify Family Travel, How to Plan a Vacation the Whole Family Will Enjoy, and Fodor's Family Adventures. Thanks for being with us, Christine.
Thanks. Welcome.
What is your background in family travel? Now, that sounds like a silly question after seeing all that writing, but what's your personal background?
Well, I first of all traveled a lot as a child with my parents. They were not afraid to take us with them. And I have 3 children now ranging between 8 and 18 who have been all over the world with me.
That's pretty good background. I've got the same kind of thing with my kids, you know, taking my kids to Hawaii and having them really enjoy themselves.
Did you camp with your parents or
No, my parents were the last human beings on the earth who would ever camp.
So you
Definitely
don't have to
not.
just camp when you have kids.
But you know, but I camp with my kids.
Do you?
And I happen to like the outdoors. You know, I think that's part of what you do is you find what it is that you like and what your kids like, and you go for that and don't try and do something just because you think that you should.
But you have 3 kids. They don't all like the same thing.
They don't all like the same, that's true. However, one of the things that you can do is to find something, one of the things that makes a family travel experience really good is finding something, at least one part of the experience that everybody likes. And one way to do that is to give everybody in the family a choice in what you do and what you're going to see.
We used to vote. When I had my kids and a family going on a trip. We always kind of took a vote as to where we'd go. Do you recommend that?
I absolutely do recommend it, and even for very young kids. You can give them perhaps not as many options as you would a teenager, but you can give them a couple of options and say, you know, of these 2, what is it that you want to do? And if they're invested in the vacation in that way.
So what age should you start vacationing? Just as soon as possible?
You
Hop
know,
on the plane?
When I was on staff at the magazine, the thing I hated to hear most were readers calling me and saying, well, you know, that sounds great, but I'm waiting until the kids are older. And my answer is, what are you waiting for? Because at every age, I think that as parents, you get something wonderful out of the trip.
And don't you think that when you're a new parent, you have this idea that it's suddenly going to be easier? Let's wait now.
Well, later on,
because
right.
At some
Right,
point
it
in
will
the
be.
future,
Right.
it's got to be easier than it is right
Than
now.
it is right
And that's
now.
probably not true.
Right.
Because whoever you are is who you take on vacation.
Right.
So, you know, you're not going to become the Brady Bunch all of a sudden.
In fact, you know, when you've got an infant out there, you can get all of their stuff in one bag. You know, when those kids get a little bit bigger, they're asking for their own luggage, and you've got to pay for everything.
That's right.
So, you know, a great vacation with infants is a city vacation because you can put them in a stroller, you can take them to museums, you can take them shopping, they won't complain, you can do whatever you want. So they're actually a wonderful age to travel with.
What about budgetary concerns?
Well,
How do you keep the family vacation within some reasonable range, budget-wise?
I think you have a lot of options. First of all, if you have young children, you can travel off-season. Ski areas, for example, after New Year's and before the President holidays, they always have great deals. And be willing to go someplace you wouldn't think of in terms of season. The Caribbean is pretty consistent weather-wise all year round, but summer is not when it's a big destination, and so there were great bargains and great kids programs
Now, when you have little tiny ones, you can do that. But then your children start school, and suddenly you are locked in to this 3-month period of time. You have to cram everything you want to do into it. You made a good suggestion for with infants. What about that school, the toddler? Let's go to toddler.
Well, toddlers and teens are, first of all, the 2 hardest age groups to travel with for often the very same reasons. But you can, even with school-age kids, there are off-season places during the summer. The
That's
Caribbean, the Southwest, for example. So if you're willing to, put up with maybe a little heat, you can go to some great places in Arizona, for example, and it will cost almost nothing.
So is Disneyland the perfect toddler vacation?
I think it is not even close to the perfect toddler vacation. I don't think kids really appreciate Disney World or Disneyland until they're over 5. And I think parents kind of make a mistake trying to take them too young. A lot of it's very frightening. And you walk more there than you would ever think possible. So it's also exhausting. I think you need to wait till the kids are a little bit older.
Yeah, they get a little worn out. That toddler thing.
They do.
As long as you can take a toddler somewhere where they don't have to fly, and if their ears start getting impacted by the airplane and they start screaming, and the rest of the plane wants to throw you off. We're going to talk more about traveling with the family. And we'll be joined by a travel expert who's authored 9 travel guides. And we think she knows something about what she's talking about. In a minute.
Hello. The job market is a competitive place. In today's economy, extra skills mean a better job for you. Speaking English is the skill you need for greater opportunity, more money, and a brighter future. Introducing Hello Channel, an exciting new television channel that teaches English as you watch TV. There's something for everyone, and the more you watch, the faster you'll learn. All you have to do is say hello.
We're talking about the family that plays together, and of course, we mentioned earlier this book by Christine Loomis, Simplify Family Travel, a guide to planning family travel. And I wanted to mention it because we're about to bring on another expert. That's right, Pamela Lanier is a travel expert well known for her advice on family travel. Besides those 9 travel guides that she has written, she's also written the complete guide to bed and breakfast inns and guest houses for the romantic traveling couple. And we'll talk about that a bit later. Thanks for being with us, Pamela.
My pleasure.
In planning vacations for older children, what are some of the things we have to be concerned with?
Well, I think that the group from 8 till about 12 is pretty much a cinch. They're going to enjoy doing anything. Right, and that makes an easy call. And that's the time to get up and go and do the adventurous things that you want to do with your kids.
Now, when you say adventurous things, what do you have in mind?
Well, that could be anything from a trip to the Rocky Mountains and doing a little climbing or gold panning to just lazing in the sun. You really can do what you like to do.
Because your kids still like you.
That's right, exactly.
And they love you. This is the truth. They like you.
That's exactly right.
They love you
You
still.
mean there's a point when your kids don't like you?
Yeah, and let's go right there because this is easy. So let's move right on to 13, 14, and what happens?
It's true. As your kids get a little older and get into those teenage years, things change. Everybody has different tastes, wants to do different things. Your kids want to spend a lot of time with their peers.
Away from you.
That's right, and it may not be so easy to pry them out of the house. So I have some suggestions for some ways to come up with trips for older kids that they're going to really like.
Okay.
Especially if they don't really want to go with you that badly. And this has happened to me. One suggestion I have is to go someplace that they're absolutely dying to go. If they have been dreaming about going on an undersea adventure, then do that. Go someplace where there's water, and if they're 14 or older, they can get certified for scuba. Or you can snorkel, but go someplace that captures their imagination. If they're still reluctant, take a friend.
Well, I was going to ask you because I just got back from Hawaii. I had to take my daughter's boyfriend in order to get her to want to go with me.
I did the same thing. I had to bring my daughter's girlfriend. I didn't know that we had that much in common. I'm telling you, right in Hawaii.
I had to take 4 teenagers instead of just my own 2.
Oh my golly. Now that's a big trip.
They're paying you more than me on this show.
But you recommend that we should do that? Because I wondered about that, because then you don't get the family time.
I think that can work out fine, but I agree with you. If I had my druthers, it would be just my children and me. Yeah. That's just for someone who's really reluctant.
Would you just make them tough it out with you for a week?
I think so, and I think I'd go about getting them involved right from the beginning in choosing where we're going to stay. And listen, plan for older kids. Don't put them in one tiny hotel room. Maybe think about a condo or something.
Now we rented a condo, and and it was a lot of fun to be together with my daughter and even her friend. But the thing I found is once we get to the destination, planning the vacation is more than the going. It's more than the budgeting. We need some tips about how to keep the kids interested, because once we got there, I mean, my kids like disappear. Oh, Dad, thank you so much for bringing us. See you later. Can I have a key? Money. Can I have the money? And see ya. I don't see them anymore. It's like, I thought this was a family vacation. I have a problem with that. How do you fix it?
Well, I think that's what advanced preparation is all about. I think you have to research where you're going, look into the things that you want to see, you want to do, and you think that they would want to see and do, and then chronicle it. Allow a morning for this, an afternoon for that, but don't try to pack too much in.
Do you think, and maybe you could answer this, Christine, do you think that when you're traveling with teenagers, you ought to just accept that this isn't going to be pleasant?
No, I don't think you should
don't
go
think we
with
should
that
accept
attitude
that?
at all, although you should be realistic, because parts of it will not be pleasant. However, you know, you can minimize some of that. If your kid uses the floor as the closet and everything he or she owns lives on the floor, that's going to happen on vacation too. So,
Right.
you know, you get them, as Pamela said, a condo room, and then keep the door shut so you don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
So it does not become
like-
a source of tension between you. Forget about it.
Like we do at home.
Well, it's harder at home, though.
Shut
It's
his door.
harder at home.
I mean, if
not
you
as-
don't, you're
and
going to be
handsome to-
upset. You're
and
going to
the
go,
other thing-
why is your floor a closet? You know.
The other thing with that age group is that they really like a time when they are equal with you, so you can learn something together. One of them, you could learn to scuba together. You could learn to play tennis together. If somebody else is in charge, someone else is doing the instruction, you're on equal ground, and they think that's fabulous.
Well, you've heard about that family that plays together, stays together. We've got a perfect example of that when we return.
Join our classroom and learn English on Hello Channel.
Daddy's home.
Hey, come here, you. Oh,
Long day.
oh yeah.
So just relax tonight.
I can't. It's bowling night. I'll tell you what. If you could think of something really fun to do, I'll stay home tonight. Okay?
Okay.
Eddie, could you get that?
Oh, I'm not gonna make it tonight. It's a bad hair day, so.
Give your family everything.
Looking good.
Give them your time. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The Craigs are big believers in family travel. Even though their three sons are now in high school and college, they just completed a trip across America visiting 34 states. Welcome. I want to hear about this trip. I've driven across America, but my goodness, this big family, tell me, how was it?
Actually, it turned out better than we were expecting. We really thought that we would put it off until the boys were old enough to appreciate where we were taking them. And then we started realizing that Matthew had just graduated from high school last summer when we took the trip. And we thought if we don't do it soon, we may never get an opportunity as a family to do this again.
So where did you start? And how did you head? And what did you see? And
we started off going up to Oregon to visit our family like we normally did, but then we branched off, went to where wife and I met at college, went over to Denver to visit some other friends, but we stopped in Mount Rushmore, stopped in Niagara Falls, went saw the St. Louis Arch, went up through there, went back to where I'd grown up, showed them some places back in Maine where I'd originally, my dad built a house there, and places we used to go on the weekends to the coast and crawling around the rocks and such.
so did it give you a different picture of the United States to actually drive through it?
Yeah. Something we never seen before.
So what happened? Anything fun? Anything that stands out in your mind that you want to share?
I remember one day we were doing Yosemite. We got through Yosemite and we ended up going all over the parks. But I'd never been to Yellowstone, And it's like Yosemite, sort of. Nice, serene waterfalls, rocks, trees.
Mm-hmm.
We were leaving. We came out of Cody, Wyoming, about a 9,000-foot pass. And I was driving, my parents sleeping, and we had a flat.
Oh,
9,000 feet up on a winding road.
Oh, yeah. Middle of
Did
the
you
night.
awake in a panic?
I had been awake. Actually, Wayne was the one sleeping and noticed that the sound of the car was getting a little bit different. But
Did you feel the car going out of control?
No.
Not out of control, vaguely. Just it wasn't a blowout, but we were losing pressure quick. And
Was it frightening, huh?
it was kind of coyotes screaming and
A little tense.
yeah.
So did you find any place you'd like to move?
I like California. I'll just stay here.
By the way, where are you originally from? Where's the family live?
we live in the Glendale area.
Did you sit down with the boys and did everybody map this out, where we're going to go and pick the sites that you wanted
And
to
the
see?
activities that you would engage in?
We tried to. We actually bought a software program and put it on the computer, laid out the points of interest we wanted to go, and then connect the dots, made a trip out of it, and then tried to see what areas we're going close to that would be interesting, entertaining. The major cities we went to, we tried to stop and see some of the baseball fields that the guys like watching on TV, show them where this actually is.
That's pretty good.
Mark McGuire hit one of his 40th home runs from the top of the St. Louis Arch.
Awesome.
That was
it different to be there than just watch it on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Worth driving all those miles?
Well, you know, in St. Louis, have you been to St. Louis?
No.
Oh, well, in St. Louis, let's put it this way.
Okay.
If you go to the top of the arch, you can see right over into the stadium, which is downtown.
You know, I'm a girl. This really doesn't thrill me. So.
Okay, well, let your girlish imagination
okay,
be up at
great
the
for
top
you.
of the arch, looking down and seeing Mark McGuire make history.
Okay.
And we're going to make history here, too, because we're going to talk about a romantic trip for two. What about that? More on the benefits of couple getaways when we come back.
Watch TV and learn English at the same time on Hello Channel.
The romantic getaway for the couple, for you too, for the nuclear family, the one that started all those kids and things. Let's talk about that. How can we get away from all of those cares and keep the romance high?
Well, I think it's really important to do that. I think putting your couple relationship first is critical in maintaining your marriage and preparing for the future when your kids aren't there anymore and you still have your relationship to nurture. So my suggestion is to take trips together whenever you can, even if it's just a very short trip or maybe an add-on to a business trip, and try to get creative with the kids. You know, maybe you can do some trade-outs with some friends that you've had their kids over, or family, or find a student that you trust from a nearby early education program or something like that.
But now this takes determination. This is worse than planning a family vacation, because you have to plan where everybody's going to go. If they're not going to stay home, you have to pack up their things and send them off. You have to pack up your own things, and then you feel guilty the whole time you're gone.
I don't believe in feeling guilty about things like that. I think it's so important.
You didn't feel guilty when you left him home?
No.
No?
No, not at all. My kids
Do
enjoy.
you feel guilty when you leave your kids home?
No, baby, you are the minority here today. I mean, seriously. But I just so admire this caring, nurturing mother thing you got going on, even though you don't like them. You know? No, seriously. You've got to find time and make a way to get away with your significant other. Okay, where do you go and what do you do?
Oftentimes, we'll just take off and do a city weekend. That's one of our favorites.
What's a city weekend?
Well, a city weekend is going to a city near us that has lots of great restaurants, maybe some cultural attractions or a show we want to see, and remembering that those nice hotels, which are really built for business travelers, are almost empty on the weekends, and the rates are a lot lower. So I look for a package or something like that, and one place I look is on travelguides.com, our website. We have a lot of deals there, hundreds of deals on places to go. Another place I love are some bed and breakfasts out in the country for a quick getaway. Recharge those love batteries.
Your husband ever take you to a bed and breakfast?
No. No.
Hey.
I'll get
Come
your
on,
book.
Doc. Take care of her.
Now, when you go to plan this weekend away, do you plan it and surprise your husband, or do you plan it together?
Well, actually, the very first one, he planned it and surprised me.
Really?
He thought we just hadn't, seen each other for a while. And it was time to spend some time together. So he planned a getaway for my birthday.
Now, I know couples that alternate years. One year, it's up to one to plan it and surprise the other one. And the next year, it's up to the other one to plan it and surprise. Have you heard any other creative things like that?
Yes, I think that sometimes there's just a chance to do it sort of spontaneously, particularly if a business trip arises and if you have a chance to take your spouse along, do it.
I want to ask both of you ladies, how do you think this kind of family planning and family travel affects the relationships?
I think it can be a really strengthening part of your relationship, and I think that even when you're taking your kids along, because a lot of people can do one vacation a year. So if you do bring your kids, make certain that you spend at least one night with your significant other. You can put your kids in a children's program at a resort, for example, and not feel guilty about it. I think she's absolutely right. You don't feel guilty because you need that time and it's good for the rest of the family. So even get a day in when you're with your spouse, when you're with your family.
Well, that's going to have to be the last word on that for now. We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
Hello, I'm Nastasia, and I'd like to introduce you to Hello Channel, the innovative new way to learn English as a second language. If you can learn English, your opportunities expand. Knowing English allows you greater job options, more money, and a better lifestyle. Here's the best part. Learning English is now easy because Hello Channel brings it right to your home. Come join our classroom, enjoy great entertainment, and improve your vocabulary, all while you watch TV. A brighter future is ahead if you'll just say hello.
Daddy's home.
Hey, come here, you. Oh.
Long day.
Oh, yeah.
So just relax tonight.
I can't. It's bowling night. I'll tell you what. If you could think of something really fun to do, I'll stay home tonight. Okay?
Okay.
Honey, could you get that?
Oh, I'm not gonna make it tonight. It's a bad hair day, so.
Give your family everything.
Looking good.
Give them your time. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
This has been another of the very important Lifestyle Magazine programs. And right now I want to remind you that one of our guests, Pamela Lanier, is an author. This is Lanier Guide to Family Travel. And I'm sure it's available, Pamela, at most every bookstore.
Everywhere, and on the web at travelguides.com.
We don't miss a chance to do things like that. Christine, so good to have you here, both of you, in the focus on family travel. And I got to just confess, at this grandfather stage of my life, I am regretful that we didn't do enough of the family stuff, but I'm glad we can encourage other families to do it. So thanks again for being with us, and thank you for joining us here on Lifestyle Magazine. We'll be back next time, and we want to invite you back too. Bye now.